segment is sponsored by Our Home Magazine.
I think it's safe to say the majority of us don't have a super comfort level with paint, but our next guest sure does. Janie Molster joining us today. She's featured in the current issue of Our Home Magazine. Janie, it's great to see you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and being able to do it from home and not in a studio setting is so relaxing and nice. So thank you.
Well, your beautiful backdrop would be one of those places everybody would dream of being. But of course, you have some great insights on making this possible. As I said before we got started there, paint is one of those things that can be incredibly intimidating. But Janie Molster Designs, you are front and center with this and know how to wrap your arms around it. Why is paint so scary for all of us?
Well, I think it's scary because it truly is. It's scary and sort of because of the amazing transformation it can make. A bucket of paint, is just a whole different room. And so I think people know that, and they often default to, decorator white, so to speak, when they're at the paint shop. But I think it's an inexpensive, but also just a way to add so many layers and enhance your architecture. And of course, I'm a color fanatic. So I'm thinking, a white wall is great if you're showcasing like a incredible art collection or something. But if that's not the case, it's a missed opportunity not to sort of amp up the paint volume.
That makes sense. So I hadn't thought of it that way. It really does represent that idea of transformation and change, because you're going from sort of this blank slate to fully embracing color. Color is vibrant, means life. So you're sort of wrapping your arms around the things that excite you. And that can be kind of overwhelming. Yeah. What are your inside tips on helping folks find that right color? Because I think that's part of the big challenge. There's so many to choose from. How do you know that you're making that right selection?
Well, I would sort of look over my shoulder, so to speak, and look at what you've done in the past, and maybe don't diverge too wildly from that path. People tend to change up their fondness for saturation of color, but they rarely switch palettes completely. So I think you probably wouldn't find a person who'd always loved blue and yellow then switching to orange and purple. So I think if you love blue and yellow, you may move to ivory and light blue or something, So I would sort of look in my rearview mirror and, mirror some of the things you've done successfully in the past and really just change the saturation, and maybe change, if you had a room that had, pale green walls, maybe then you move to a room that has, deep forest green walls and lighter upholstery. So stay in your comfort zone. Like you probably know the colors you love, and you just need to tweak them to sort of keep yourself interested.
That's some great insight, because then you are in your comfort zone, but at the same time, you're able to go on a little bit of a color adventure, but within your wheelhouse, right?
I love that. Color adventure. I've got to write that down. I'm adding that to my conversation about color with my clients.
It's definitely one of those things. And I see you've got a beautiful backdrop behind you. Of course, the case with the collection that you have and some subtle colors. I think I could probably put my finger on, pink seems to be one of the areas that you really enjoy.
Yes, and I fought hard not to put on a pink dress today, and I finally decided enough is enough. But I do love pink, and I think if readers who, and I think you'll be sharing images from our home, but readers who view our house will see that, some rooms I have deep saturated wall color, and in other rooms, it's pretty pale and it's more of an accent. And honestly, that often is the mood I'm in that day. Sometimes I need, to be wrapped up in color, and sometimes I don't. And I find that people in my house, but also our clients as well, move to different rooms in different seasons. For example, a deep saturated room, you tend to wander in a cold winter day, and a really, light, bright, room you may use more in the summer months. So it's funny. Color is extremely psychological, and we get into it deep with our clients and find out all about their feelings about it and their reactions to it. And that really directs our path with them.
But it really is, from your perspective, one of the easiest ways to transform a space. As you mentioned, one bucket takes you on that color adventure.
Yes, and with people, I've had so many calls from people who are at home a lot right now, and we're in our homes and we're frustrated. What can we do? And lots of clients saying, what do you think about just an accent wall, or what do you think about, a color on the ceiling? And my comment is, it's paint. It's not construction. In the scheme of the interior design world, it's inexpensive, and absolutely try it. Run a big, wide, bold stripe in a tonal pattern across the center of a room, and it just adds another layer of visual interest without redecorating. So, I do think, people get, and it is messy and it's laborious and all of that. But when you look at all the things we deal with in interior design, it's one of our easiest go-to transformations. So don't be afraid of it, would be my advice.
That's right. Well, it's been easy spending time with you. Thank you so much for inviting us into your home. It's lovely, and the insights on color.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. And we'll be sure to share more information on our website, WTVR.com/VTM, so you can learn more about Janie Molster Designs and the Our Home Magazine current issue.
Find Our Home Magazine on newsstands today, or subscribe at richmondmagazine.com/home. You'll find them on Facebook at Our Home Magazine and on Instagram at Our Home Mag. Please stay tuned, because we're coming right back.